So, okay. So this is what we have seen in the last class, like how to read multiple values in one line. I said you can read multiple values in one line by using input function, right? But actually input function doesn't read more than one value, but you input more than one value and that you split into, you input one value and that you split into one number of values. So for that you are using a method called split. So for that you are using a method called split, and then so one more function you are using that is called as a which one? Map, right? And this is what we have seen, and even some programs. And after that we are talking about nested looping statements. And nested looping statements, there is a nested for and there is a nested while. So this is an example for nested while, nested for, sorry. So I said program to generate prime numbers from 2 to 20, like that. Yes. Now let us see some more, some logical programming. Some logical programming. So which is helpful in technical exam, right? So what is that is? So these are some patterns related programs. So this is called as some pattern programming. So which is very much useful in technical, right? Some patterns, how to print different patterns here. And these examples also useful to improve the programming logic, right? For example, yes. See, these programs only for improving the logics, but not nowhere used in application development. But these programs may asked in technical exam also, right? So what is that is some pattern related programs. Okay, suppose if you see some questions, okay, sometimes, okay, sometimes you may find the questions like this. Okay, so you may find now questions like this here. This is on while. So all these are now, these are some questions like write a program to print the following pattern like 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4. So there is a pattern like this. Okay, right now how to print this different patterns. Now these are called some pattern programming. So how can you do this? For example, we'll start with the simple patterns. So whenever any pattern program is given, see whenever any pattern program is given. So what you do is, for example, I want to print so all ones here like this. I want to print like this. So whenever this kind of patterns are given, so what you do is you try to divide this into number of rows and columns. What you do is you divide this into a number of rows and columns here. Okay, number of rows and columns. Like this, you try to divide into number of rows. So here, how many rows are there? 5 rows are there and 5 columns. 5 rows are there. Okay, so these are 5 rows. And here I'm starting row number with a 1, 2, 3, and 4, and there is a 5. And again, column number starts with 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So there is a row number and there is what here? Column number, right? So there is a row number. Okay, so there is a row number and there is also what here? Column number here. So here rows, how many rows are there here? 5 rows. Okay, 5 rows means I'll say for I in range of 1 comma 6. Okay, now this for loop is executed how many times? 5 times. Okay, so this range will generate how many values here? 1 to 5. So what is the first value in the range? 1. What is the second value in the range? 2. Like that. So this range, this range generates how many values? 5 values it generates. There's nothing but how many rows here? 5 rows. Then each row is having how many values? Each row is having how many columns? 5 columns. Now first I value is what here? 1. Means first row. And that row, inside that row, how many columns you are creating? 5 columns. So for j in range of 1 comma 6. Okay, so what is the value of I? 1. And this for loop is executed how many times? 5 times. Means how many columns are there? 5 columns. So within each column, j is nothing but what here? Column. Within each column, you're printing which value? 1. You're printing which one? 1, 1, 1 you are printing it, right? So print, what you are printing here? 1. So this 1 is printed how many times here? 5 times in the same line. At the end, I inserted space. It means it will insert, will it insert a new line after printing 1 or a space? Space. So this for loop is executed how many times here? 5 times. So this 1 is printed how many times? 5 times. Then after printing 5 times, I insert one new line. After printing it 5 times, I insert one new line. So inserted one new line. Inserted new line, right? Then next, what is the value of I becomes 2. Okay, I value next it becomes what? 2. And then this for is executed how many times? 5 times. Then again it will print 1 how many times? 5 times. Then next I value becomes what? 3. And this for loop is executed how many times? 5 times. Okay, now. So whenever patterns are given, you divide this pattern into a number of rows and columns. And in each column, either you print a row value or column value or some other value. In each column, you print either row value or column value or some other value. But here you are printing in each column which value? 1. So first row, how many columns? 5 columns. So row is nothing but outer loop and column is nothing but what? Inner loop. So first row, how many columns I should create? 5 columns. Then I use one for loop. Then next outer loop value is what? 2. Then how many columns? 5 columns. Outer loop values are 3. How many values here? 5 values. Okay. Now if you see this. So whenever this kind of programs are given, you divide this. So for I in range of 1 comma 6. Okay, for j in range of 1 comma 6. So print what you are printing 1. What you are printing here 1 and then insert 1 new line. You are printing 1 and then you are inserting 1 new line, right? Okay, so then you are inserting after printing each value. What you're doing, you're inserting 1 new line. So 1 is printed or not? Yes. But in the place of 1, you can print any other character. So what I printed here, stars. Any character you can print. But here I try to print which value? 1. So 1 is get printed how many times? So number of times. Now each row is divided into a number of columns. Simple, right? Suppose now I want to print like this. I want to print like this 1, 1, 1, 1 and 1. Then next I want to print 2, 2, 2 and 2. Next I want to print 3, 3, 3 and 3. And next is a 4. And next I want to print 5 and 5. I said, whenever this kind of problems are given, divide this into a number of rows and columns. So divide this into a number of rows and columns here. So how many rows are there? 5 rows are there. And 5 rows and 5 columns here. So this is how it is divided into number of rows and columns. Okay, so the row numbering starts at what here? 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many rows are there? 5 rows are there for I in range of 1 comma 6. This for loop is executed how many times? 5 times. What is the first value of I? 1. 1. I value is what here? 1. I value is 1. 1 means here first row. In this case, 1 means what? First row. First row should have how many columns? 5 columns. Then I use for j in range of 1 comma 6. Okay. So this for loop is executed how many times? 5 times. I value is 1 and j value is 1 to 6. So with j means nothing but what here? Column. Within column, you are printing which value? Within column, you are printing which value? Row value. Within column, you are printing which value? Row value. So 1 you are printing how many times? 5 times. 2 you are printing how many times? 5 times. 3 you are printing how many times? 5 times. 4 you are printing how many times? 5 times. So which one you are printing? Row value. You are printing how many times? 5 times. So you'll say print. What you are printing? I. I is nothing but row value or not? Yes. I is nothing but row values. And row value of printing how many times? 5 times. So next I value becomes what? 2. Then j is how many times? 5 times. Then 2 is printed how many times? 5 times. So next I value becomes what? 3. Then j value is from 1 to 5. Then I value is printed how many times? 5 times. Next I value becomes what? 4. Then j value is from 1 to 5. Then I value is printed how many times? 5 times. So your I value, j value starts from what? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is outer loop and this is what here? Inner loop. This is outer loop. What is outer loop here? I. I is generating how many values? 5 values. First I value is 1. Then inner loop generating how many values? 5 values. In inner loop you are printing which value? A row value. In inner loop you are printing which value? row value. In inner loop, you are printing which value? Row value. Then next I value becomes what? 2. And j value becomes what? 1 to 5. If j value is 1, you are printing which value? Row value. If j value is a 2, you are printing which value? Row value. If j value is a 3, you are printing which value? Row value. So you have to understand this execution of looping statement, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So what is the value of I here? 1, right? Then it will enter inside the loop. It will enter inside the loop, and this will generate how many values here? 5 values. And what is the j value? 1, and print I value. What is the value of I? 1. Next j value becomes what? 2. Then print I value. What is the value of I? 1. So next j value becomes what? 3. And print I value. What is I value? 1. So next j value becomes 4. And what is the value of I? 1. Next j value is a 5. What is the value of I? 1. Then is it execution of this loop is over? Yes. Then it will insert one new line and go to which loop here? Outer loop. And then read next I value. What is I value? 2. So then this 2 is printed how many times? 5 times, right? Suppose now I want to print like this. In reverse, I want to print like this 5, 5, 5. Then I want to print like this 4 and 4, 4. And I want to print 3 and then 2. So 2 and then what I have to write here? 1. Okay. So again, divide this into number of rows and columns. So divide this into number of rows and columns here. So these are number of rows and columns here, right? But in this case, the row value starts from where? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So here, a row starts from where? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So in this case, first row you are repeating 1. Here, first row you are repeating what? 5. So it means row value starts from where here? 5. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then column value starts from where? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So each row is having how many columns? 5 columns. Then what do you do it for? Then in range of how to generate from 5 to 1? 5 comma 0 comma minus 1. 5 comma 0 comma minus 1. So what is the step value? Minus 1. So 5. What is the value of row? 5. Then next is 4. Then 3, 2 and 1. So what is the value of 5? 5. Okay, then I should generate how many columns here? 5 columns. For j in a range of 1 comma 6. 1 comma 6. Now this will generate 1. This will generate how many column values? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So first now j value becomes what? 1. So j is nothing but column. Within column you are printing which value? Row value. So that is nothing but I. So 5 is repeated how many times here? 5 times. Next 2. Next I value becomes what? 4. Then this 4 is repeated how many times here? 5 times. Next I value becomes what? 3. Then this 3 is repeated how many times? 5 times. Next I value becomes what? 2. Then that 2 is repeated how many times? 5 times. Then next I value becomes what? 1. And that 1 is repeated how many times? 5 times. Then insert a new line, right? After printing each row, You have to insert one new line. Otherwise, everything you'll get in the same line. Otherwise, you'll get everything in the same line here. Now you can see 5, 5 times and 4, 4 times and 3, 3 times and 2, 2 times and 1. Yes. 5 times, 4 is 5 times, 3 is 5 times, 2 is 5 times, 1 is a 5 times. If I don't write this print, so what will happen? It will print everything in one line. Okay, if you don't write this END, after printing I value, it will insert new line. Means it will print like this. But I want each row means this value should be printed in the same line. After printing each row, I should insert one new line. After printing each row, I should insert one new line. So after printing each row, you have inserted one new line, right? Suppose, okay. Okay, suppose, okay, for example, now this is one. Now suppose I want to print like this. Okay, I want to print like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, simple 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to print 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now I want to print like this. Now for this, again you have to divide this into number of rows and columns. So divide this into number of rows and columns here. So this is how you are trying to divide it into number of rows and columns here. So how many rows are there here? 5 rows. Now this is a 5 rows where I'm saying 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Then how many columns are there again? 5 columns, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. But in the previous case, what we printed row values. But in this case, you are printing column values. In each row, you are not printing row value, but you are printing which value? Column value. So what do you do it? How many rows are there for IN? Range of 1, 6. Each row is having for J in range of 1, 6. Then print. What you are printing? J value, not I value, because in each column you are printing which value? Column value. 1, 2 like that. So after printing, you try to insert one new line, right? So this is printing this pattern. Now once you run this, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 get printed how many times? 5 times, right? Okay, now suppose I want to print like this. Now 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and again 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So it is same like previous example or not? Yes. But in this case, you are starting the column value from 1 or 5 or 5. You are not starting column value from 1, but you are starting column value from where? 5. Okay, you are starting column value from 5, right? So in this case, the row value starts from 1, okay, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But column value, you are starting with 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then what you write here for IN? For IN range of, okay, range of 5 comma 0 comma minus 1. 5 comma 0 comma minus 1 for JN range of, sorry, this can be 1 to what here? 6. Then 5 comma 0 comma, I can write what here? Minus 1. Okay. So then print, which value you are printing? J value. After printing J value, insert one new line, right? After printing J value, you try to insert one new line here, right? So what will happen in this case? So it will print this particular pattern. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes. How many times here? 5 times. For example, I want to print like this. Okay, I want to print 1. I want to print 1 and then 1 and 1. Okay. Then 1, 1 and 1. Okay. Then I want to print 1, 1, 1 and 1. And then I want to print 1, 1, 1 and 1. Like this, I want to print it. Okay. Like this, I want to print it. Okay. Please explain difficult patterns from this link. Okay. But first, you start with the simple here. Okay. Maybe you are master in patterns. Okay. But here students are very uh, like not like you. Okay. Yes sir. These students here, what students here are there, they are not like your master in Python. Okay. So first start with the simple, then go for complex, right? First of all, you don't know for loop. Okay, na? So first learn simple, then go for complex patterns. Okay. So any work you are doing it, you have to start with the simple, small questions, then essay questions. Yes or no? Okay. అట్లా రైట్ అట్లా ఉంటుంది మళ్ళీ. Yes. So it is like that. Now this is how it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So how many rows are there here? 5 rows are there. And how many columns are there? Suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 rows are there and 5 columns. But actually, if the row is a 1, it should generate how many columns? Only 1 column. If the row is a 2, it should generate how many columns? 2 columns. If the row is a 3, it should generate 3 columns. If the row is a 4, it should generate 4 columns. If the row is a 5, it should generate 5 columns. Okay. So it means column is J, right? Okay. So for IN range of, 1 comma, what is that? 6. If the row is a 1, I should generate how many columns? If the row is a 1, I should generate how many columns? 1 column. 1 column is The column should be equivalent, number of columns should be equivalent to what? Row value. Number of columns should be equal to what? Row value. So for j in range of what? I means, is it start or stop or stop? This is a stop. So what is the value of I? 1. Then what is the stop value here? 1. Then what is the start value? 0. What is the start value? 0, right? So this for loop is executed how many times? 1 time. This for loop is executed how many times? 1 time. If you want to start from 1, you can say 1 comma I plus 1. If you want to start from 1, you just write 1 comma I plus 1. If you write 1 comma I plus 1, what is the value of I? 1. So 1 comma 1 plus 1 means 2. 1 comma 2 means how many values this range generates? 1 value. If it is 1 comma 3 means how many values it generates? 2 values. 1 comma 3 means how many? 1 comma 3 means 1 comma 4 means 3 values. 1 comma 5 means 4 values. 1 comma 6 means 5 values. Because this stop is included or not included? Not included. Stop is not included, right? Now here print. What you are printing? 1. What you are printing here? 1 you are printing it. What you are printing is, you are printing 1. What you are printing is, you are printing 1 here. Okay, you are printing 1. So try to understand, you are printing 1 here. So once you run this, now this is 1, 1, 1, 3 ones, 4 ones, and 5 ones. Because you are creating how many columns here? I columns. I is nothing but row. And inner loop is for columns, right? So you are creating how many columns? 1 comma I plus 1. Means you are generating columns from 1 to number of rows. The value of row, right? Then next is, I want to print like this. Suppose okay, suppose I want to print so I want to print like this. Okay, now 5 ones are there and 4 ones are there, 3 ones are there, 2 ones are there, and 1 is there. Okay, so it is like this. So there is a 5 ones and 4 ones. So it is like this. So how can I print? Okay, like this. Now here, so here, for example, here you are printing how many values here? 5 values. It means I start the row with what here? 5. If the row is a 5, you should generate how many columns? 5 columns. If the row is a 4, I should generate 4 columns. If the row is a 3, I should generate 3 columns. If the row is a 2, generate 2 columns. And if the row is a 1, I should generate 1 column. Okay, yes. If the row is a 5, we should generate 5 columns. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If the row is a 4, it should generate 1, 2, 3, 4. If the row is a 3, it should generate 1, 2, 3. If the row is a 2, it should generate 1 and 2. If the row is a 1, it should generate only 1. Right? So if the row is a, yes, for in range of 5 comma 0 comma minus 1. What is the value of 5? 5. Okay. So then I should generate how many columns here? 5 columns for j in range of, okay, 1 comma what? I plus 1 comma I plus 1. 1 comma I plus 1, and what you are printing? 1. What you are printing here? 1. So next I value becomes what? 4. Then 1 comma 4 plus 1 is 5. So generate how many values? 4 values. Next I value becomes 3. Now 1 comma 3 plus 1 means 4. It generate 3 values like that. So just insert one new line. Okay, insert one new line here. Okay. Now once you run this, now these are the pattern here. Now in the place of this one, what you can do is you can print what? Star. In the place of one, you can print what? Star. Okay. In the previous example also, in the place of one, what you can print here? Star, you can print it. It will print like this. Okay. Yes. Now this is printing 111 like this. Sorry. Printing 11. But I want to print like this. I want to print 1, then 2, 2. Okay, then 3, 3 and 3. Then I want to print 4 and 4 and 4. Then I want to print 5 like this. I want to print 1 and 2 and 2, 3 and 3 and 3, and 4, 4 and 4, and 5 is how many times? 5 times. Same logic. Logic is again same. Okay, logic is again same here. But in this case, you're not printing 1. In the place of 1, you're printing which value? Row value. In the place of 1, you're printing which value? Row value, you're printing it. Okay. In the place of 1, you're printing row value. Now it is like this. Okay. Suppose now row values start from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So yeah, row value is 1. There is a 2, 3, 4, and 5. Row value starts from where? 1, then next is a 2, and 3, 4, and one more is a 5. Then column value starts with, if the row is a 1, it should generate how many columns? 1 column. If the row is a 2, it should generate 2 columns. If the row is a 3, it should generate 3 columns. If the row is a 4, it should generate 4 columns. If the row is a 5, it should generate 5 columns. Okay, right. Then what you have to do? For i in range of 1 comma 6, and for j in same thing, 1 comma I plus 1. But what you are printing inside each column? You are printing the value of which one? I. So are you printing row number or not? Yes. You are printing row number how many times? 2 times. Row value how many times? 3 times. Row value how many times? 4 times, like that. So then insert one new line. So once you run this, now 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, and 4 times, and then what? 5 times, right? If you want in reverse here, the same thing I want in reverse, then I want in reverse, right? Reverse means like this, 5, 5, 5, and then 4, Okay, then next is 3, and next is what here 2, and then what 1. So what do you do this? This is also again you divide this, but in this case the row value starts from where 5. The row value starts from where 5. Okay, so if the row is a 5, it should generate 5 columns. If the row is a 4, it should generate 4 columns, like that. Okay. Okay, right? If the row is a 5, you are generating 5 columns. If the row is a 5, it generates 5 columns. If the row is a 4, 4 columns. If the row is a 3, 3 columns. If the row is a 2, 2 columns. If the row is a 1, 1 column, right? So if the row is a 5, it should generate how many columns? 5 columns. If the row is a 4, it should generate only 4. If the row is a 3, it should generate only 3. If the row is a 2, it should generate only 2. If the row is a 1, it should generate only 1, right? So for in range of 5 comma 0 comma, what should I write? Minus 1. 5 comma 0 comma minus 1. Then for j in a range of 1 comma I plus 1. Then print which value? I value. You are printing I value here. So I is nothing but row value. In each row, you are printing which value? Column value, right? So it is like this. So once you run this, so 5 is 5 times, and 4 is 4 times, and 3 is 3 times, and 2 is 2 times, and 1 is 1 time, right? Now this is, suppose, assume that. So we'll just move some complex, right? Now I want to print like this. Okay, I want to print 1 and 1, 2 and 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4. And I want to write like this 1, 2, 3, 4, and one more value is a 5. But same thing, but in this case, you are not printing which value? Row value, but rather than you're printing which value? Column values, right? So 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, like this. So divide this. So row value get incremented here. Here row value get incremented 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So row value is 1, and this is a 2, 3, 4, and 5. And column value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If the row is a 1, it should generate how many columns? 1 column. And in 1 column, you're printing which number? Column number. If the row value is a 2, you're generating how many column values? 2 column values. And you're printing which numbers here? Column numbers. If the row value is a 3, you're generating how many columns? 3 columns. Then in each column, you're printing column value, not row value. But in this case, you are printing column value for I in range of 1 comma 6. Now this is number of rows. For j in range of, okay, range of 1 comma I plus 1. 1 comma I plus 1. Now what is the value of I? 1. Then this range is 1 comma I plus 1 means 1 comma 2. Means how many times this for loop is executed? 1 time. Now in each column, you're printing which value? column value, not row value. You're printing 1, then after that 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3. Okay. If the row is a 1, 1 column. If the row is a 2, 2 columns. If the row is a 3, 3 columns. But in each column you're printing which value? Column value is nothing but which one? J. So if the I is 1, this for loop is executed 1 time. If the I is a 2, this for loop is executed 2 times. If the I is a 3, this for loop is executed 3 times. If the I is a 4, this for loop is executed 4 times. If the I is a 5, this for loop is executed about 5 times. But you are printing all the values. So that is J value. And then insert one new line here, right? Now, once you run this, now you can see the values 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But the same thing, I want to reverse it. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and one more value is a 1. I want to print like this. Then here I value starts from where? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So here 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And J value is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If the value of 5 is 5, if the value of 5 is 5, yeah, you have to generate 5 values. If the value of 5 is a 4, 4 values, like that. But the value of 5 start from where? 5. Okay, the value of 5 start from 5 here, right? So it is like this. How you are writing 5? It's like this: 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If the value of I is a 5, you are generating 5 columns: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If the value of I is a 4, how many columns? 4 columns. If the value of I is a 3, generating how many columns? 3 columns. If the value of I is a 2, generating how many columns? 2 columns. If the value of I is a 1, generating how many columns? 1 column here, right? So how you write it for IN? So for IN range of 5 comma 0 comma minus 1. For IN range of 5 comma 0 comma minus 1. And for Jn range of 1 comma I plus 1. Then print. So insert one new line here, right? Okay. Yes. Once you run this code, so once you run this code, now you can see the output is like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 1, right? Suppose this is how it is. For example, I want to print like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 2, 3, 4, 5, and 3, 4, 5. Then I want to print 4 and 5. Then 5, I want to print like this. So I want to print like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now something like 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I want to print like this. So how can you print this? See here. Now when this kind of logic, right? When you have this kind of logic, you do the same thing. How you do this here is simple again. So this is also very simple, but how you do this? Okay. Again, you try to divide this into a number of rows and columns. Yeah, this is but in this pattern, what you are doing is you are printing all the columns. You are printing all the columns here. In this case, you are printing all the columns. All the columns means suppose. So the number of rows are 5, right? If the row is a 5, how many columns are there? 5. Or you can start with anything. No problem, right? If the row is a 5, you are generating how many columns? 5 columns. If the row is a 4 also, you are generating 5 columns. If the row is a 3 also, you are generating 5 columns. If the row is a 2 also, you are generating 5 columns. If the row is a 1 also, you are generating 5 columns. But the remaining columns you are printing what? Space. Remaining columns you are printing what? Space. Okay. Okay, if the row is a 5, you are generating 5 columns. Even though if it is a 4, you are generating 5 columns. If it is a 3 also, you are generating 5 columns. If it is a 2 also, you are generating 5 columns. If it is 1 also, you are generating 5 columns. So actually here you have to start row with 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So total how many rows are there? 5 rows. And total how many columns are there? 5 columns. You have to generate 5 columns. Every row 5 columns. But when you are printing column values, suppose when you are printing column value, if column value is greater than or equal to which value? Row value. Is it 1 is greater than or equal to 1? Yes. 2 is greater than or equal to 1? Yes. 3 is greater than or equal to 1? Yes. 4 is greater than or equal to 1? Yes. 5 is greater than or equal to 1? Yes. The next row is a 2 and column is a 1. 1 is greater than or equal to 2? No. What do you print? Space. What do you print here? Space. Is it 2 is greater than or equal to 2? Yes. 3 is greater than or equal to 2? Yes. 4 is greater than or equal to 2? Yes. 5 is greater than or equal to 2? Yes. Then next row becomes 3. Then column again what? 1. 1 is greater than 3? No, print space. 2 is greater than 3? No, print space. 3 is greater than or equal to 3? Yes. Now how you write this logic is for IN. So 1 to 6. And for JN, range of 1 to 6. If J is greater than or equal to, if J is greater than or equal to I, then print which value? Column value. Print column value. Otherwise, if it is not greater than, else, what do you print? Space. So print space, and then insert one new line. After printing each row, now you have to insert one new line. So based on some condition, you are trying to print it here. Based on some condition, you are printing it based on some condition. So here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, and what? 5. So that is when J is greater than or equal to I. When the value of column is greater than or equal to row, then print J value. Otherwise, print what? space. But actually you are taking how many columns here? 5 columns you are taking. But you are trying to print the column value based on the row value, right? Suppose will it hmm, on numbers? Okay, you want to print only odd numbers 1, 3, 5. Okay, then you can print 3, 5, 5. No problem. That also you can. See, logic, you have to apply some conditions. Okay, suppose I want to print like this here. So 1 and 2 and 1. So 3, 2, 3, 2 and 1, and then 4, 3, 2 and 1, then 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. I want to print like this. Okay. So only one thing, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is row. Row value starts from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Columns are 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now you are printing column values, right? So divide this. Number of rows are 5 and number of columns also 5. So you have to take 5 rows and 5 columns here. So starts with what here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then this is 5, 4, 3, 2, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then what you are writing for IN? Range of 1, comma 6. For JN, range of then 5, comma 0, comma minus 1. 5, comma 0, comma now tell me condition. बोलो यार. What is the condition here? J is less than or equal to I. Then print which value? J value. J is less than or equal to I. 5 is less than 1. No, space. 4 is less than 1, space. 3 is less than 1, space. 2 is less than 1, no, space. 1 is less than or equal to 1, yes. Print what? 1, right? So if J is less than or equal to which one? I. So print the value of which one? J. Print the value of J, otherwise print what? Space. Yeah, anything you can write. So otherwise print what you are printing now? Space. Now space is get printed here. Then after that insert one new line. So once you run this, now you can see 1 and 2, 1. So 3, 2, 1 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 like this, right? 1, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1 and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 like that, right? So in the place of this, okay, in the place of this, now I want to print like this. Any number of patterns you can take. Okay, any number of any number of patterns you can take. Now I want to print 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5, 6. Okay, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. So I want to print like this. I'm printing all the values from 1 to 15, right? I'm printing all the values from 1 to 15. 1 to 15, I'm generating numbers, but how I'm generating? Yes. If the, yeah, this is like this. So I want to generate all the numbers from 1 to 15. I want to generate all the numbers from 1 to 15 here. All the numbers I want to generate from 1 to 15. Now it is like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And here also 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So what you are printing it? You are not printing in each column. You are not printing either row value or column value, but you are printing sequence of numbers. You are generating numbers from 1 to 15. And that numbers you are printing in each row and column. Suppose if the row is a 1, how many columns? 1 column. If the row is a 2, how many columns? 2 columns. If the row is a 3, how many columns? 3 columns. If the row is a 4, how many columns? 4 columns. If the row is a 5, how many columns? 5 columns. Okay, so what do you do it? Suppose you are generating numbers from 1 to 15. Then I take one number. Number starts from where? 1. Outside I said n is 1. Then for in, how many rows are there? 5 rows. Then if the value of I is 1, I should generate how many columns? 1 column. So I said I comma 1 comma I plus 1. Then what you are printing inside this? You are not printing row value. You are not printing which value? Column value. But you are printing which value? Number. You are printing which one? Number. And this number, keep on incrementing it by saying n equal to n plus 1. So it will keep on incrementing the value of n, right? So based on the number of rows and column. That's it. This is generating like this 1. So n is generate. N value is from 1 to 15. What is n value is from 1 to 15 here? N values from 1 to 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, up to 15. Because here, suppose, now in this example, see here, n value is 1. This for loop is executed how many times? 5 times. Then this for loop is executed 1 time. Then what is the value of n? 1. N equal to n1 plus means 2. But is it any values to read from the range? No. Instead one new line. Next I value becomes what? 2. Then this for loop generate how many values? 2 values. Then what is the value of n? 2. And n equal to n plus 1 means 3. It will print what here? 3. Then after that, n equal to n plus 1 means 4. But is it any values to read from range? No. Then next I value becomes what? 3. Then j is from range 1 comma 4. It's nothing but it generate how many values? 3 values. Now that is nothing but 4, 5 and 6. Then n values are 7. Then so this n values keep on incrementing. This n values keep on incrementing from 1 to 15. So total how many values it is generating from 1 to 15, 1 to 15 values it is generating, right? So if you want, I want in reverse, right? Reverse means I want like this 15. Okay, now I want like this 15, 14, okay, 13, okay, 12 and 11. Then next is 7, 8, 9, 10. Next is 4, 5, 6. Next is 2 and 3. And next I want here 1. So next I want here 1, right? Okay, so it start from 0 onwards. 0, 1, 2, 3 like that. Okay, right? Yes. So the number of rows are 5 only. And the number of columns also here what? 5 only. So how you generate this? Now the row value, I should start with 5 here. So this is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And this is again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But here n starts from where? 15. What is it? Values incremented or decremented? Decremented. Okay. Range of 1 comma 6 and for jn range of, yes, this is 5 comma. So 5 comma 0 comma minus 1, and this is for j is in range of 1 comma I plus 1. 1 comma I plus 1, right? And then print. What you are printing in this case? N value. What is it? Value of n is incremented or decremented? Decremented. N equal to n minus 1. Then insert 1 new line. Yeah, that is reverse, right? Yes. 10, 8. Sorry. This one is a 10, 9, 8, 7, right? This one I should change it, right? So 10, 8, sorry, 10, 9, 8, and 7. So, but in this case, the value of n is starts at what here? 15. And this is from 5 to 0 comma minus 1. But here n value is not incremented. N value is what here? Decremented. So you can see 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. But these are simple patterns only, not big. Okay, these are basic patterns. So in the place of these values, you can also print what here? Stars. In the place of these values, you can also print what here? Stars, right? 654. This is also you have to reverse. No problem. This one should be reversed here. We'll change this also, right? Otherwise, yes. So this is also, this is 3, 2. Okay. So this is 6, 5, 4. And this is 3 and 2 here, right? Message. Please message it. Message. Okay, right? Now we'll see some more patterns. Okay, but tomorrow we'll see this. Okay, some more patterns, but tomorrow, right? So we'll stop it here today, and tomorrow we'll see some more, right? This class or recorded live class, you not, this classes are recorded live classes, you not solve this my queries, or what is this? It's a live class. I'm reading your question, right? I'm reading your question means, is it live class or recorded class? Srinivas ready? Then here, what is this? What is your query? Tell me first. Before you can print. Abhishek, yes, you can print. Yes. Yeah, you can. Tomorrow we'll see some more examples, right? Yes. As per syllabus, which topic is going on? You just check the syllabus. Okay. Check the syllabus. You'll be knowing it, right? Okay. You check the syllabus here. You'll be knowing it. What is the topic you are learning? Huh? Don't put that print statement here. Print statement put outside the for loop, outside the inner for loop here. Print statement outside. This should be outside. But what is the logic here? Some logic should be there, not randomly here. हाँ? अभी कुछ तो भी print कर सकते हैं यार. हाँ? Some logic, if it is implemented, you can solve it. Suppose you said randomly something. Can we print means what? That you can do it. Okay, right. You have done some mistake. I already showed where the syllabus is available. Go to Naresh Shetty website. Go to Naresh Shetty website. You can find the syllabus. Okay. Go to Naresh Shetty website. You can find the syllabus copy.